Buddhaṃ 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 vande Dhammang 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 vande Sanghang 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 vande Buddhaṃ dhammang sanghang vande Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Santutthi paramang dhananti. Homage to the Blessed One, homage to the Dhamma, homage to the noble disciples of the Buddha, homage to the Triple Gem. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in Dhamma, today we are going to discuss one of the concepts in Buddhism, that Santutthi Paramandana. Santutthi means satisfaction or contentment. It is not just happiness. Contentment means that the satisfaction with what already we have. If we have something, some money or some skills, some education, some appearance in our body, we are happy, we are satisfied with what we have already have. It doesn't mean that we should earn more things. We can earn more things, we can learn more things in the future. It doesn't matter, but we should be satisfied with what we have already have. That is a very important doctrine in Buddhism. Santutthi Paramandanam, Buddha says, Santutthi, contentment or satisfaction, is the supreme wealth. Sometimes we think that happiness will be in the future. That is why we always think, may I have a good future. But that future, that tomorrow, never comes until we die. That is why we need to be happy this day, not in the evening or when we are going to bed, but in this present moment. This present moment is the most valuable time in our life. If we are able to succeed this present moment, purifying our mind, our entire life is successful. All Buddhist doctrines focus on this concept. And everyone wants to succeed in our life. The goal of our life is success. Everyone needs to succeed their life. Success is the goal. Our success depends on what? Our success depends on our happiness. If we are not happy, everything that earn is useless. Success depends on happiness. Happiness depends on what? Happiness, some people may think that happiness depends on their education, their wealth, their relatives, children. They think. That is the ordinary concept, ordinary object, ordinary purpose. But according to Buddhism, happiness depends on how far we have eradicated negative thoughts from our mind. They are greed, anger, and delusion. Delusion. Reducing greed and anger depends on reducing ignorance or delusion. Delusion or ignorance is like main switch or trip switch. If you can put off main switch, every devices are put off. Like that. In this situation, Buddhism points out the importance of reducing delusion or ignorance. Reducing these defilements depends on what? Reducing these defilements depends on right vision, right understanding, or samadhi. Right understanding or right vision, samadhi. Right vision or right understanding depends on right understanding or right vision depends on what? It depends on it depends on listening to Dhamma. Right understanding depends on listening to Dhamma. Listening to Dhamma and wise reflection, yoniso manasikara. Listening to Dhamma depends on what? That is also correct, but we are keeping here very close things, very nearest things. Listening to Dhamma depends on associating good friends. Associating good friends. If we need to associate good friends, we also need some inner qualities in our life, such as generosity, gratitude, active listening, wisdom. Those things are very important. If we are not wise, even though we meet some good friends, we miss them. Even though we associate some good friends, if we are not gently spoken, we are not ready to listen to what they say. Buddha says in his language, Kalyana Sahayata, Kalyana Sampavankata. We should have good friends. We should bind Namena. We should bind to them. We should pay our attention to them. That is also very important. Sometimes, we have good friends. But we say everything what we know, but we are not ready to listen to what they know. When we meet good friends, we should associate with them and also we should discuss with them. Buddha says, discussing Dhamma is the path to understand the wisdom. Through discussing, we understand a person's wisdom, intelligence. With their behavior, we are unable to recognize them. Sometimes they are very calm and quiet, but they are not wise. That is why Buddha says, Sakachaya Panya Veditabbo. The wisdom should be realized by discussion. That is very important. Here, this is the order. The main purpose of everyone is happiness. If we need to achieve happiness, we need to eradicate our negative thoughts from our mind. The more we purify our mind from negative thoughts, the more we are happy. Even though we are very educated, even though we are very rich, even though we have good appearance, physical appearance, if our mind is polluted, everything that we earned is useless. That is why Buddha says, it is very easy to defeat hundreds of enemies in the battlefield, but it is not a great victory. Buddha says, what is the great victory? Defeating our negative thoughts is the great victory. We can defeat, we can kill, we can win many enemies in the battlefield, but it is not a real victory, according to what the Buddha taught. If we are able to defeat our negative thoughts from our mind, that is the real victory. That is why Buddha says, we should recognize our real skillfulness, our proficiency. Buddha says in his words, Susukang vata jivama verinesu averino, verinesu manusyesu viharama averino. Let's live without anger among those who are angry. Let's live happily among the people, those who are angry. Let's live happily without anger among the people, those who are angry. That is one of the skills. Again Buddha says, Susukang mata jivama aturesu anatura, aturesu manusyesu viharama anatura. Let's live without mental illnesses among the people, those who are mentally ill. Let's live happily without mental illnesses among the people, those who are mentally ill. That is the real skillfulness. Again Buddha says, Susukang vata jivama yesanno natti kinchanang piti bakha bhavisama deva abhasara yata. Let's live happily without any impediments, like radiant divine beings who are in the Brahma realm. That is also one of the skills. When we practice loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, they are four sublime states. Physically we are in the human realm, but mentally we are in the Brahma realm. Again, Buddha says, Susukang vata jivama usukesu anusukaha usukesu manusyesu viharama anusukha. Let's live happily without seeking, without longing sensual pleasures among those who are seeking, who are longing sensual pleasures. That is the skill. Among the ordinary people who have negative thoughts, defilements, if we are able to live without negative thoughts, defilements, that is the real success in our life. That is the ability that day by day we should develop. Finally, we can make an unshakable mind that nobody can disturb. In this situation, mind is very important. Mano kubbangama dhamma. Mind is the forerunner. Mano setta, mind is chief. Mano maya, mind made dade. Manasache pasannena bhasativa karotiva tatona sukhamanveti chayavanapayam. He who does something with a pure mind, happiness follows him, like our shadow. Again Buddha says, Manasaki paduttena bhaktiva karotiva satonan dukkhaman veti chakkanavahato padam. If someone does something with a wicked mind, suffering follows him. Like the wheel follows the oxen. And in this situation, it is very important to understand real happiness. Day by day, we should purify our mind from negative thoughts. Again, Buddha says in his sermon, all Buddhist doctrines can be included into one stanza. Sabba papa sakaranam, not to do any evil. Kusala sukha sambada, doing good deeds. Sajita paryodakanam, purifying one's mind. Etang buddhahan sasanam. This is the message of the Buddha. Not only it is our Gautama Buddha, but all Buddhas who appeared in the world, they explain this stanza in the same way. Not to do any evil. Especially we should abstain from 5 negative activities. Abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from false speech, abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs. If we can abstain from those 5 things, actually we have no regrets in our life. We have no mistakes in our life. Then we can be happy. When we do something with a wicked mind, actually we have no happiness. That is why we should overcome these negative activities from our life. Kusala Sukha Sambada. It is very important to understand the karmic law in this level. Kusala Sukha Sambada means it belongs to worldly good actions. Laukika Kusala. Worldly wholesomeness. It has no deep meaning like inside meditation. It explains the ordinary wholesomeness. Dana, Sila and Bhavana. Generosity, virtue and meditation. Loving kindness. The more we practice 3 meritorious deeds, the more we are happy. Sukho punya suchyo. Doing good deeds synonyms. Happiness. And that is why Buddha says, when we practice good activities in our life, they are supreme blessings. There are 38 supreme blessings we can see in the discourse of the Mangala Sutta. And Dhanancha, Dhammacharyacha, practicing generosity is a supreme blessing. Dhammacharyacha, spending his virtuous life is a supreme blessing. And taking care of our parents, Mata Pita Upatthana, that is also a supreme blessing. Listening to Dhamma, Halena Dhamma Savanam, discussing Dhamma, they are also the supreme blessings. Gratitude, Katanyuta, gratitude also is a supreme blessing. Like that, there are 38 supreme blessings that Buddha has introduced in the Mangala Sutta. And again, Buddha says a very special concept. I think in the world history, first time Buddha says good morning. Buddha says, if someone speaks or acts something with a pure mind in the morning, that morning is a good morning. Not just saying good morning. If someone says or acts something with a pure mind in the morning, that morning is a good morning. Supubbanha. In Pali language it says Supubbanha. Supubbanha. Pubbanha means morning. Supubbanha means means good. Good morning. Not only good morning that Buddha says Sumajjanha. If someone says or acts something with a pure mind afternoon. That afternoon is a good afternoon. So much jnana. Not only that, Buddha says good evening too. If someone speaks or acts something with a pure mind in an evening, that evening is a good evening. Susayanha, supubbanha, sumajjanha, susayanha, sayanha. In Sinhala, savasa. Sayanha in Pali, evening. Supubbanha, sumajjanha, susayanha. That is the way how we can make a good morning, good afternoon and good evening. If we can succeed today, our entire life is successful. But usually we can see people are going to succeed tomorrow. That tomorrow never comes until we die. In this situation, purifying one's mind, the third advice of the Buddha, purifying one's mind is the highest quality that we should develop in our life. Purifying one's mind. Little by little, we are going to deeper level. First, we explain abstaining from 5 negative activities. Then we explain the importance of practicing 3 meritorious deeds. With the understanding of the karmic law, if we can practice generosity, virtue and meditation, especially loving kindness meditation as much as we can, then we can develop our inner peace. One of the main reasons that steals our peace of mind is that anger. So reducing anger is one of the main things that we should do at the beginning of the path of liberation. Again and again, we should think that thus may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Again and again, we have to cultivate that positive thought. Then, gradually, our generosity also increases. When we can see other people like our children, then we are not greedy. We are generous. Our greed depends on anger. If we can reduce anger, actually we are so generous. We are never greedy among our children. If they need something, we are ready to spend everything what we have, but not for others. When we offer something to others, we think again and again. We reduce it. But if we are able to think other people like our children, then we are so generous, we are so compassionate. And that is why practicing loving kindness is very important. Not only that, but we can reduce more than 50% stress from our mind if we can practice loving kindness again and again. And also, when we practice loving kindness, we don't stop in loving kindness. We develop another 3 qualities. Karuna, mudita, upekha. Karuna means compassion. Mudita means sympathetic joy, the opposite of jealousy. And upekha means equanimity. We make a balanced mind. And if we can live with these 4 qualities, it means we are like divine beings. We are like Brahman beings. Until this sentence, we explained conventional truth. Now we are going to discuss absolute truth. And in this level, until we discuss this now, And it depends on the conventional truth. We think there are some people outside, we should do good deeds because there are many people around me and we should practice loving kindness. That depends on the conventional truth. But it helps us to develop our inner peace. First of all, we should need to succeed this level. If we are unable to succeed this conventional truth, we are unable to attain the absolute truth. When we develop ultimate truth, on the other side, our conventional truth, activities also gradually increase. However, when a Buddha appears in the world, the most important thing that we can learn is that absolute truth. When we experience something, if we depend on outside, it means we are in the conventional truth. We have been coming for a long time in the samsaric journey from birth to birth, depending on the conventional truth. Even karmic law depends on conventional truth. That is why there are 4 actions, Buddha says. There are some actions which are black, that cause black results. There are some actions which are white, that result white results. Kanna sukha vipakam. There are some actions black and white that result black and white results. Those 3 things, 3 karmas, 3 actions belong to conventional truth. When Buddha appeared in the world, some people had realized karmic law, but they had understood only these 3 things. After Buddha appeared in the world, Buddha introduced another action, that atti bhikkhave kammam akanna sukham akanna asukha vipakam. There are some actions neither black nor white, that cause neither black nor white results. That is the thing we explain in the absolute truth. Here, when we are going to understand absolute truth, all doctrines in the absolute truth in Buddhism can be included into 2 pillars. They are mindful and mindful meditation. Mindfulness and mindful meditation. Mindful means keeping our attention in the present moment. Here it is very important to understand the object of mindfulness. Mindful object. Buddha has introduced this concept in some discourses, such as Maharaulovada Sutta, Parimukhaṁ Satinupaṭṭapettva. We should keep our attention in this area. It means that we are mindful that I am here. I am living here. If we have not this ability, our mind goes here and there. Even though we practice meditation, even though we practice loving kindness, with loving kindness we are going around the world. Before practicing any meditation technique, we should practice the object of mindfulness. It means we should train our mind to live in the present moment, keeping our attention in this area. It doesn't mean that we should bind our attention to our physical area. We should keep our attention in this area, closing our eyes. Now I keep my attention here. Relax body. Then we can hear something. Now vehicle is going. Some birds are singing. I can hear, but I know very well now I am here. Even though I focus something, even though I experience something, I don't run alone those experiences. I keep my attention in the present moment. That is very important. When we develop this object of mindfulness, with this mindful object, we can develop other meditation techniques. Even though we don't practice any particular meditation technique, still we are in mindful. Whenever we are in mindful, nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. We are mindful. We are in mindfulness. Then we can contemplate on what we learned in Buddhism. We can think your generosity, your virtue, your skill programs, your activities that you did for homeless people. Then keeping your attention in the present moment, then you can reflect on anything that you had done in your life. Not only good deeds, that when you remember your some mistake, that also you can remember. But you do it mindfully. Then your mind is not polluted. As soon as some thoughts come to your mind, you know very well those thoughts are impermanent. They arise at the moment, they immediately cease. Then you are not fixed in those negative thoughts. Suddenly you can overcome them. You can reflect on them as impermanent. Then we are successful everywhere. We can go anywhere. We can run anywhere. It doesn't matter, but we do it mindfully.
Is this something that we should be doing all the time?
Yes, okay. All the time. Until we are going to the bed. Until we are going to sleep. From morning to night. Whenever we are in mindfulness, mindful object, it means we are in meditation. You know, according to the great discourse of mindfulness, Buddha says, Gate tite nitinne sutte jagarite sampajanakari hoti. When we go here and there, when you eat something, when you wear something, when you do your physical activities, everything that you do while you are doing, you are mindful. Then your mind is pure. Whenever you are mindful, it means you are in the field of the Buddha. Whenever you are away from mindfulness, it means you are in the field of the Mr. Mara. That is why Buddha emphasizes the importance of living in mindfulness. When we practice this mindful object, then we can practice particular meditation techniques such as loving kindness meditation, keeping our attention here. You know, one day, Venerable Rahula, the Buddha's son in lay life, one day he was under the tree, keeping his attention in this area. Then Reverend Sariputta saw that Reverend Rahula was mindful, keeping his attention in this area. Then Reverend Sariputta says, Ayasma Rahula, if you are in mindful, please practice breathing meditation. But sometimes we think that keeping our attention here and breathing meditation are same, but they are different. Living in the present moment, in the mindful object, it should be our land. We should have a land. Buddha introduces the land that where we should be in. The land is with the understanding of mindfulness. If we can keep our attention in this area, then we think only positive thoughts. The negative thoughts that disturb our peace of mind don't come to our mind. If they come suddenly, we are able to reduce them. We can eradicate them as much as we can. This is the real protection, security, assurance, insurance, safety, refuge in our life. And mindful meditation. Mindfulness means keeping our attention in the present moment. At the same time, we can develop positive thoughts, such as loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity, contemplating on the qualities of the Buddha, recollection, the Dhamma, contemplating on four fundamental elements, Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. Those are the meditation techniques we can practice at the same time we are mindful. Even though we don't practice any particular meditation technique, should come to the meditation object again. Then we have safety. Then, little by little, we increase the value of our life. The value of our life depends on our thinking pattern, our point of view, our vision. If we have very high positive thoughts, it means we are so valuable, we are important. Then we can increase the value of our life. That is why Buddha has always emphasized how we develop our value, how we increase our value. The value of our life doesn't depend on our education or our wealth. It completely depends on our right view, right vision and practice. Right vision means, right vision can be divided into two. One of them is the understanding of the karmic law. The other one is understanding the dependent origination, or three characteristics. And here, before we start this spiritual path in the absolute truth for liberation, Buddha says, Janato aham bhikkhave passato atmanam khayam vadami no ajanato no apassato. I proclaim the liberation for those who know the path, who see the path. Before we start this spiritual journey in the absolute truth, according to the deliverance path, we should know where we are going to, what the destination is. What is the destination? Buddha says, Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya passati atta nibbindati dukkhe esamaggo visuddhiya. Everything is impermanent. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. First of all, we should recognize what the impermanence is. What is the impermanence? Eye is impermanent. Forms are impermanent. Ear is impermanent. Sounds are impermanent. Nose is impermanent. Smell is impermanent. Like that. Our six senses are impermanent. Six external objects are also impermanent. What is the meaning of impermanence? They arise at the moment with the conditions, they immediately cease when conditions cease. But our ignorance doesn't believe it. Like some innocent animal. When they go to the mirror, they see the reflection. When they see the reflection in the mirror, they think there was someone before they go there. And also they think that after they leave the mirror, the object remains there. That is why they come again and again back at the mirror. We are not away from dogs, pets. Even though we are not ignorant in front of the mirror, everywhere we are ignorant. After the experience that we receive in the past, this immediately ceased, but we think still, my son is at home, my son is in the university, my mom is in the next life, my car is on the street, you think. But they are there, according to conventional truth. but they come to your world when you remember them. Not only you see, but when you think them, when you hear them, when you smell them, when you taste them, through these senses, whenever you experience those things, at the moment they are in your world. Whenever you don't remember them, whenever you don't think them, they are dead. They are dead. Even though they are living still, whenever you don't think someone, at that moment they are dead. Even though your man is dead, whenever you think your man, still she is living with you. That is why, end of our life, our five senses are very weak. At the moment, our mind and mental objects work. When you remember something, suddenly you imagine the picture form. According to that picture that you get as permanent, you are ready to go to that world. If your mind is at home at the moment with attachment, don't worry, you don't go away, you will be born in the same place, but different, in a different form. If you are stronger with your positive thoughts, you are in the higher realm as a God or as a divine being. If you are weak, you are in the same room as a ghost. Not a God, ghost.
It means more greedy, right?
Yes, yes. Especially the reason that we are going to ghost realms, that greedy. If we are so angry, we are going to another realm, that Niraya. It is a very lower realm. The reason is that come to the ghost realm is that attachment or greed. That is why little by little we reduce this attachment and anger as much as we can. And here, by practicing mindfulness, we develop the awareness of the present moment with our body and mind. According to Buddhism, according to the great discourse of mindfulness, Mahasatipatthana Sutta, we should be aware of our body, feeling, consciousness and mental formation from morning to night. Whenever we are doing some activities, then we are aware of our body, we are aware of our feelings, we are aware of our consciousness, we are aware of our mental formations. Not only we keep our attention in these four areas, but we reflect on they arise at the moment, they immediately cease at the moment. In this situation, there is a book in Khuddaka Nikaya, Patisambhidamagga. It is not here. In Patisambhidamagga, the topic of Charyananatta Jnana, the wisdom or the knowledge of the difference of characters or behaviors, Buddha says there are three characteristics or there are three behaviors. One of them is, it is not in handout. It says as Vijnana Charya. Vijnana Charya. In Pali.
What's the name of the book?
Patisambhidamagga. Vijnana Charya means when we experience something through our six senses, the very first experience, we are unable to control it. The very first experience. It is same to ordinary people and Arhants as well. It is very instant. It says Vijnanacharya, it means Vijnana is conscious behavior. Conscious behavior. Conscious behavior is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. It is the result of our previous action. But it is very instant. It is very difficult to experience. It is only the primary experience. When you recognize these colors as white, yellow, brown, actually you recognize not as the first experience. When you recognize these colors as brown, yellow, green, the first experience, Vijnanacharya or conscious behavior has already ceased. We recognize those things, another two things, as for Ajnanacharya. Ajnanacharya or Jnanacharya. Jnanacharya. Ajnanacharya means unwise behavior, unwise characteristic. It means at the moment when we experience something, if we are ignorant, if we are unmindful, then we are going to Ajnanacharya. It means unwise behavior. When we experience something, if we think there is something outside, we are in Ajnanacharya or unwise behavior. If we are mindful at the moment, we don't go to unwise behavior, we suddenly go to Jnanacharya. Jnanacharya means wise behavior, wise characteristic. This is the difference whether we are ready to suffer or we are ready to overcome suffering. This is the place where we should practice our best friend. That is why, little by little, we develop mindfulness. The more we practice mindfulness, the less we are ignorant. The more we are ignorant, it means the more we are unmindful. Here, in this level, first experience immediately ceases at the moment, then suddenly we understand there is some person outside. There is a flower there. Like that, when we go to the mirror with our pet, innocent pet, he thinks that there is someone in the mirror, same dog, same cat. But we are not ignorant. Suddenly we know that this reflection arises at the moment, as soon as I come here. We are not ignorant in front of the mirror. But our innocent pet, he is ignorant there. Like that, this is a very deep concept in Buddhism. If you are clever to understand this phrase, you are so fortunate. Even though you don't practice these things, it doesn't matter. One day you can practice. But knowing this concept is very important. This is the very rare place in Buddhism what a Buddha discovers. And here, even though we know this Dhamma, we are going to this level, Ajnanacharya, unwise behavior, but suddenly we come back here. When we go to the mirror, if we think there is someone in the mirror as the reflection, then we respond it. Like that. Likewise, when we see something outside as permanent, we are going to respond it. That is why suffering arises. It doesn't mean that we should not be sensitive. Actually, we can respond others without this attachment, without ignorance, if we are mindful and if we are wise.
So Anyanacharya meaning you going out of the mindfulness mind, and if you realize and come back to that, it's going to be jnana.
Yes, actually, Arahantas, they are suddenly in this level. They never go to this level. But we, ordinary people, in first time we are going to this level, but because we know the Dhamma, we suddenly come here.
Just like when you meditation, your mind goes away, you realize you're going out of that field. When you come back, that means it's like jnana.
Yes. We can come back to here. However, in the first level, first time, we can be ignorant here. But because we know the Dhamma, because we have practiced Dhamma, again we can come to here and also we can overcome suffering. Whenever we think there is something outside, even though at the moment we are in equanimity, any time we can respond it. For example, now you are in equanimity. Now you are like ascetic people. If I blame you, suddenly you get upset. No, if you are not, it is good. It means you are practicing mindfulness. I am happy. But whenever you are not in mindfulness, it means you are ready to get suffering. That is why this is the place where we should show our skillfulness. Not we should show others, but we should show ourselves. Then I am not ready to suffer. And here, Vijnanacharya, conscious behavior, Anyanacharya, unwise behavior, and Jnanacharya, wise behavior. This skill, Vijnanacharya, is same to everyone, even Arahantas. It cannot be controlled. It is not unwholesome or wholesome. It is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. It is a result of our previous actions. If you experience something, if you hear some sound, actually it is neutral. Sound is neutral. Smell is neutral. Forms are neutral. But if you have attachment or detachment, it means we create insight. When I say something, sometimes you may get angry. Someone may be happy. The words are same. Happiness or suffering is created by yourself, according to your present mental condition. If you are so hungry, if I give some food, you are so happy, you suddenly get an eating. When your belly is full, if I give the same food, you are angry with me. Don't give me anything, I am full. The food is same. You are also same, but your mental condition is different. Like that, we experience what we hear, what we smell, what we see, what we taste. Actually, it is same. It is neutral. We create it as good or bad, happy or unhappy, according to our present mental condition. It is also different from moment to moment. If you are in the classroom, even though I blame you, you may not get angry, because you are shy to become that person, because many people are here. But if you are with another person, if he or she blames you, then you may get angry. And like that, our experience is neutral. We create it as good or bad according to our point of view. If we can understand, if we can develop our mindfulness, we are always in mindfulness, then as soon as we experience something through our senses, we reflect on it as impermanent, as dissatisfactory, as egoless. then we make an unshakable mind that nobody can disturb. This is the place where we can show our proficiency, our skillfulness. For that, in one side, we should practice mindfulness, being aware of our body and mind, and also mindful meditation means reflecting on impermanence. Eye is impermanent, forms are impermanent, like that we reflect on this impermanence according to our six senses and six external objects. Finally, we have to practice only the bottom level, the five aggregates. Whatever we experience through our senses, it means five aggregates. Rupa forms, Vedana feelings, Sanya perception, Sankhara mental formation, and Vijnana consciousness. These five things arise together, they immediately cease together. In this level, Vijnana five aggregates arise. But in this level, it goes to attachment, the clinging of five aggregates. We take them as myself, mine. The same five aggregates go to the Arahants. They don't take anything as mine, me, myself.
Is there reflecting on the five aggregates something that you do in both mindful meditation and in the mindfulness practice?
Actually, in this level, we can practice five aggregates in mindfulness. Now I am in mindfulness, breathing here, keeping our attention in the present moment. And here in mindful meditation, we reflect on them as impermanent. They arise at the moment, they cease together. Arising, ceasing, arising, ceasing. This is concentration meditation, this is insight meditation. Keeping our attention in the present moment, we reflect, we contemplate on positive thoughts. Keeping our attention in the present moment. And when mind is concentrated, mind is in samatha, samadhi, we reflect on impermanence as practicing mindful meditation. Mindful meditation means reflecting on impermanence, arising and ceasing. Five aggregates always arise, they cease, arise, cease, arise, cease. Whenever we reflect on arising and ceasing of five aggregates, we don't go to the Anyankarya or unwise behavior. We suddenly go to wise behavior, Jnanacharya. It means we are away from suffering. Whenever we are in Anyankarya or unwise behavior, we are in suffering. Even though just now you are in neutral, you are not away from suffering. Other people may think that you are like a static person, you are so calm, present, but you are not away from suffering. If your mind is fixed in outside, if you think something outside as permanent, it means you are in Anyankarya, it means you are in suffering, it means you are not away from suffering. Anytime, anyone can disturb your peace of mind. Whenever you are in mindfulness, it means you are in Jnanakarya or wise behavior. At that time, you are inspired. You are awakened. Even though you lose everything in this world, you have a balanced mind. You have an unshaken mind. And that is the ability that day by day we should develop by practicing Dhamma, practice mindfulness and mindful meditation. For that, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, virtue, concentration and wisdom, three of them are interrelated. Before we are going to practice meditation, first of all we should have good behavior and speech. That is very important. Sila. Sile patitthaye narosapanyo chittam panyanta bhavayam. The wise person contemplates his mind on a positive object, having good virtue, good behavior in speech and physical activities. That sila or virtue helps us to go forward in concentration or mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness helps us to go forward in mindful meditation by practicing insight meditation or vipassana bhavana. Day by day, we should go to the deeper. We do everything, by offering something to others, by practicing generosity, virtue, and taking care of our parents, elders, helping other people. We develop longevity, good complexion, health. Why do we need these facilities? Yes, we need these facilities when we are going to practice these qualities. We develop our longevity, good complexion, health, for the liberation, to practice these qualities in this immediate life before we die, because this is a very rare chance. If we miss this chance, sometimes we not have this chance for a long time. This is a very rare chance. We should give the priority to practice this path as much as we can while we are doing other activities and duties in our day-to-day life. If we respect us, if we want to give a value of our life, if we need to take care of our life, if we need to respect our life, this is the path that we can practice in our day-to-day life. That is why Buddha says, Satthana Visuddhiha, for the purification of beings, the only path that we have to practice, which is mindfulness. Soka Paridavana Samatikkamaya, abstaining from sorrow and lamentation. Dukkha Domana Sanangattangamaya, for overcoming of grief and pain, for the gaining of knowledge, for the attaining of enlightenment. Buddha says there is only one path. This is mindfulness. Mindfulness is only path for the purification, for the overcoming of suffering, for the liberation. This should be our best friend in our life. Keeping our attention in the present moment, we should practice, we should reflect on impermanence as our internal senses, external objects, fundamental elements, five aggregates, like that. For that, at the beginning, it's very important to practice loving kindness meditation and practicing five precepts. Practicing five precepts and practicing loving kindness help you to go forward on this path. Yes?
I also like what you said that keeping your attention in this area for the Santutthi method. But I went to one of the meditations to my Thai place and they said it's the navel area. What is the difference?
Actually, there are, some gurukulas, means some schools ideas, but this is the Buddha's real idea. You always recognize, understand, and practice what the Buddha's original words. That is very important.
That's why I went there once. And I did it.
Then we have no mistakes. If we are clever to understand the Buddha's real message from Tripitaka, and if we can practice them, we have no mistakes. Sometimes they may be correct, but we can't recommend them. But this is the pure Dhamma.
That was the Dhammagaru.
Actually, Dhammakaya also Theravada tradition, but sometimes they practice some doctrines which belong to some schools, Gurukulas, some.
But that's not from Tripitaka.
Not from Tripitaka. When we discuss Anapanasati Bhavana, there are 18 obstructions, Buddha says. If someone practices first, the breathing is here, middle is here, end is here, it's a mistake. Buddha says very clearly. We should not contemplate on like that. We should keep our attention here. We will give some examples later. Okay? Okay, any other question? Yes.
So if we have, for example, like an hour to meditate a day, do you recommend splitting it like roughly equally between concentration, insight, and loving kindness, or how would you recommend people do it?
Before the insight meditation?
Well, how do you recommend that people divide up their meditation between the three techniques of, I guess, insight, concentration, and loving kindness?
Yes, actually, all Buddhist meditation techniques can be divided in two. One of them is concentration meditation, the other one is insight meditation. There are 40 meditation techniques which belong to concentration meditation or mindful meditation. After mind is concentrated, we reflect on impermanence. Buddha says, Samahito bhikkhave yatha bhutam bhajanati. He whose mind is concentrated, he reflects on impermanence. Because he has started this journey listening to this message. Before we started this path, he is already knowing what is the destination. Therefore, he doesn't stop in this area. He goes to the destination. As soon as mind is concentrated, when you practice mindful object again and again, you don't go to the loving kindness meditation or fundamental elements. You directly go to insight meditation. Insight meditation is like writing a letter under the lights. Light is like samatha. Anytime light can go. But even though you have written something under the lights, even though electricity cut off, the letter that you have written it remains like that. Vipassana is like that. If you have practiced Vipassana meditation, it means you have developed your wisdom. It remains even though you die, even though your physical body destroys. That is the real wealth, real spiritual faculty. Others can be destroyed, others can be disappeared, but wisdom remains. We can start other things where we stop, from where we stop. That is why, as much as mind is concentrated, we reflect on impermanence. Finally, we have to reflect on impermanence of our high aggregates. The more you reflect on impermanence of high aggregates, the more you don't depend on outside. Suddenly you look at inside whatever you experience. Like you go to the mirror. When you go to the mirror, suddenly you know that the object is here. You never criticize, you never blame the object, the reflection. You know that reason is here. When you see something, if you get upset, you never criticize others. You know the reason is here, your misunderstanding. When you change your point of view, suddenly you can overcome suffering. The reason is here. But ordinary people always, they criticize others, they blame others. They think that the reason that suffering beings is there. Like innocent pets bark at reflection. All meditation techniques in samatha can be included in mindfulness or concentration meditation. Mindfulness is a primary need that we should have, but it is not the destination. Our destination is practicing mindful meditation, reflecting on impermanence, arising and ceasing. When we have this ability, as soon as we experience something, it says in Buddhism as Bahya Sutta Ditthe Ditthamattam Bhavisati Sute Sutamatam Bhavisati. When we see something, we know very well it ceases there. Like this sound. When you see something, it suddenly ceases. But again, when we see it again and again, we see the same thing, but it is not same.
Sometimes I think what he meant was, or what I'm thinking is, how long does it take for the mind to get concentrated, and how soon should you go into mindful meditation, or like 2 minutes, or?
Actually, that is why I said that. As soon as actually, first of all, we develop mindfulness for a long time. But we don't stop there. You know, even though when we practice may all beings be well and happy, suddenly our mind is concentrated. But we continuously do it. Because, you know, we are not ignorant in mindfulness, in samatha. We know the destination. You know, some people who doesn't know the different origination, they are ignorant in mindfulness or samatha bhavana.
So they stop there.
They stop there. They think that they have achieved the destination. But we know very well that is not the destination. Even though we see some pictures, lights, it is not the result. The result is that as soon as we see something, we experience something, we know that very well. If we know that very well, it doesn't remain anything after the experience. That is the destination. We practice mindfulness or samatha bhavana as a facilitator for our insight meditation. But in this side, some people, you know, when some people practice loving kindness meditation, they think that my ego increases. When I think may all beings be well and happy, may I be well and happy, my self-view increases. Actually, that's wrong. We do it as a benefit for our next step, for the insight meditation. And why do practice mindfulness or concentration meditation is that to concentrate our mind. Buddha says, when the water is mixed with some dust or something, we are unable to see the bottom of the water. When the water is very pure, we can see the bottom of the water. Like that, our mind is very complex. When it goes here and there, we are unable to see the reality, even though we know it. Buddha says, we should know it, we should see it. Not just knowing, but we should see it. Not through our eye, but through our wisdom. Okay. Thank you for your good attention. I appreciate your participation. Today we discuss contentment or satisfaction. Santutthi paramam dhana. Satisfaction or contentment is the supreme wealth. As the result of practicing this path, we will make an unshakable mind among the 8 worldly conditions. Puttassa loka dhammehi chittam yakshana kampati. Asokam virijan khemam ekam mangalamuttamam. He who has made an unshakable mind among the worldly conditions, labha, gain and loss, yakayasa, honor and dishonor, prasansa ninda, praise and blame, sapadu, happiness and misery. Among these 8 worldly conditions, we make an unshakable mind that nobody can disturb. That is the final result. That is the highest supreme blessing in our life. By practicing this path, day by day, we are reaching the destination. Okay? Thank you so much. By the power of these meritorious deeds, may our departed relatives also receive this spiritual energy May they enhance their life with good health and good life. And finally, may they also attain the final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's share these merits with our departed relatives. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of these meritorious deeds, may guardian deities and angels also receive this spiritual energy. May they enhance their divine energy. May they keep their eye on you too. May they also attain the final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's share these merits with guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā Puññantaṁ anumoditvā chiraṁ rakkantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā Puññantaṁ anumoditvā chiraṁ rakkantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā Puññantaṁ anumoditvā chiraṁ rakkantu tvaṁ sada. By the power of all these meritorious deeds, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain the final bliss of liberation, Nibbana. Dukkham pantā ca nindukkhā, bhayam pantā ca nibbana, sokam pantā ca nissokā, hontu samveti pānino. May the Triple Gem bless you.